Diversity in living organisms, Part 2. In our previous class, we have studied the hierarchy of classification groups. Under this hierarchy of classification groups, a biologist, Robert Whittaker, proposed 5 kingdoms. So we are going to study the important characteristic of the 5 kingdoms of Whittaker. The first one is Monera. Let's see the examples of Monera. Bacteria, Anabina. These are the examples of Monera. Let's look at the characters of Monera. They do not have defined nucleus. Some have cell wall, while some do not. They can be either autotrophic or heterotrophic. The next groups are Protista. Protista are unicellular eukaryotic. They use appendages like cilia or flagella. They may be autotrophic or heterotrophic. Examples are Paramecium, Amoeba, Euglena. This is examples of Paramecium, Amoeba, Euglena. From these examples, you can see the cell on their surrounding. A structure look like hair. These structures are appendages, we call as cilia or flagella. Fungi. They are heterotrophic eukaryotic. The food they depends on decaying organic. They have capacity to become multicellular organisms. Examples of fungi are yeast, mushrooms. Some fungal species live in permanent mutual dependent relationships with blue-green algae. Such relationships are called symbiotic. These symbiotic life forms are called lichens. So this is lichens. So here fungal they stay a relationship with other organisms like blue-green algae. They have a mutual relationships. They depend on each other. Such relationships are called as symbiotic, and this symbiotic life will forms which are called as lichens. Plantae. The next groups were Plantae. These are multicellular eukaryotes with cell walls. They are autotrophs and use chlorophyll for photosynthesis. Thus, all plants are included in this group. Since plants and animals are most visible forms of the diversity of life around us, we will look at the subgroups in this category. So the first one, we will look at the classifications of plants or Plantae. These Plantae plants will divide into a group with one as do not have differentiated plant body and the other have differentiated plant body, which means they are not differentiated into root, stem, and leaf. This group are called as Thallophyta. And under this group, which have differentiated plant body, they are divided into 2 groups, Bryphyta, Trichophyta. Bryphyta, they do not have these vascular tissues, while Trichophyta, they have a special vascular tissues. Under here, 2 groups is divided again as Pteridophyta and Phanerogames. Pteridophyta do not produce seeds, while Phanerogames produce seed. So we'll look under Phanerogames, which produce seeds. It is divided into two groups again as Gymnosperms and Angiosperms. Gymnosperms bear naked seeds, while Angiosperms bear seed inside fruits. Gymnosperms has two groups, which is called as dicots and monocots. The dicots will have seeds with two cotyledons, while monocots they will have seeds with one cotyledon. So the difference between dicot and monocot is the cotyledon. So we'll study one by one the characters and the examples. The first one is Thallophyta. Under plant classification, the characters are they do not have well-differentiated plant body. As we have studied, they don't differentiate into root, leaf, and stem. They are predominantly aquatic, which means they live inside the water. Plants in these groups are commonly called algae. Example ulva, Spirogyra. The next groups are Bryphyta. These groups are called amphibians of the plant kingdom. Plant body is differentiated to form stem and leaf-like structures. No vascular tissues to transport water and other substances from one part of the plant body to another. So here in this group they are called as amphibians of plant kingdom, and they have differentiated to form stem and leaf-like structures, but they do not have vascular tissues to transport substance from different parts of the body. Examples of Bryphytas are moss, as Funaria markensia. These are the examples of Bryphyta. This moss will found growing on the rock in your surrounding. Pteridophyta. Under Pteridophyta, these groups of plants they have differentiated into roots, stem, and leaves. They have vascular tissue, and examples are Marsilia. This is Marsilia. Ferns. The next groups were Gymnosperms. We call Gymnosperm as naked seed because in Greek word Gymnosperms means naked seed. Plants bear naked seed. They are usually perennial, evergreen, and woody. So examples are pine, like pinus, or cycas. The next groups are Angiosperms. Angiosperms are called as cover seed, as in Greek words Angiosperms means cover seed. These seeds develop inside an organ which is modified to become a fruit. These are called flowering plants. All the flowering plants comes under these Angiosperms. Plant embryos in seeds have structures called cotyledons. Let's see what is cotyledons. Cotyledons are the layer of the seed. As the seed germinate out, the plants will come out between the two layers of the seed, and this layer are called as cotyledons. But in some seed, they have only one cotyledons, only one layers of seed. So cotyledons have divided into two groups, monocotyledons and dicotyledons, or we can call monocots, dicot. Under monocotyledon, we'll take examples corn. The corn seed has only one layer or only one cotyledon, single cotyledon. And dicot or dicotyledon, examples bean. When we cut the seed, we get two layers of seed, and the two layers are two cotyledons. When they germinate out, we'll see one single leaf in monocots, while in dicot or dicotyledon, when they germinate out, they will germinate two leaves. And the leaves of the dicot and monocots are different in their structure.